Hey guys, Paul here. So, Age of Overlord just dropped in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, and it has been a very, very popular set. Wildly successful, so much so, in fact, that it's got some pretty valuable, pricey cards. And so, the reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to take a quick look at them and more so ask you guys what you think about Age of Overlord and its prices relative to the situation that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was in just a couple months ago with Duelist Nexus. If you guys will remember, we were kind of doom and glooming a little bit around Duelist Nexus's release because it was a mainline Yu-Gi-Oh! Set, a green one in fact, you know, those green Duelist sets, right? That did not really have a lot of value in it. If you'll remember, there were things like Revolution Synchron that were kind of sort of carrying the set, but it wasn't really a card that everybody wanted, and that was kind of seen as the only valuable other thing. Maybe the Chimera Fusion Monster or Dark Corridor or Crimson Dragon were like decent secret rares that were around like 10 or 15 bucks. But the general consensus was that people did not want Duelist Nexus because there just was not any value in it. So much so that the price of a sealed box of Duelist Nexus got as low as 40 bucks. Now, contrast that to Age of Overlord that has only been out for about a week, but has already made huge waves. And you'll see a really big difference. And I'll get to kind of the implications of that here in a second. So let's take a look at the cards themselves. Got them pulled up on TCG Player. This is Age of Overlord stuff, priced from high to low. Don't worry, it's not a market watch thing. I'm going to try to be quick about this. As you can see, lots of quarter century secret rare cards fill the list for the most part, but the important thing to notice here is that there's SP Little Knight. This is the most expensive card in the set. It's this really strong, great new Link monster. It was really strong in the OCG actually. It kind of replaces Nightmare Unicorn as it relates to, you know, like IP Masquerena, but also this is a pretty good card just on its own right. And so, yeah, it can get rid of cards. It's kind of a recurring type of disruption. Good thing, right? It actually goes as high as like 800 bucks, which is crazy. But even amidst the quarter century secret rares, the secret rare version of this card is over $100 right now. And that's pretty crazy because we have not actually had secret rare cards be $100 in a while. Like, at least certainly not like right off the gate, right? So, you know, Access Code Talker eventually got there, and like same with Triple Tactics Thrust and stuff. But typically those cards weren't like $100 the first weekend that they were out. Seems like that's kind of the case for SP Little Knight. But it's not all, because even as you scroll through all of these quarter century secret rare cards, there's also Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils, which is a quick play search spell, crazy, that's recyclable and everything, or recycles other things. And yeah, this is insane. You need this card if you want to play the Diabell Star engine, and a lot of decks do. So that's really pricey. And then also you've got the new Horus card, I believe. Yeah, Imseti. This is the secret rare one. It's about $35 to $40, and Diabell Star, which is about $25 to $30. And even when you kind of go to the next page, you'll see that there are some nice bits of other value in the set, like Typhon, for instance. So, yeah. Great, right? This means that buying a box of Age of Overlord, at least if you can get it for the average-ish price of like $65, is a pretty fun value proposition. A lot of different archetypes that you might want to get, a lot of strong staples that have high trade value or sell value or like movability. That's always a really big thing. And if we contrast it a little bit to Duelist Nexus, you can see Revolution Synchron's dropped off. It's now only like $20 to $25. It's rough. And Dark Corridor and Chimera and Crimson Dragon are still hanging around at pretty measly values. In fact, I'm kind of curious about how much it costs for a box of this set right now, just out of curiosity. Hey, it's gone up a little bit. It was like $42 or $41 or so for a while. Okay, so that brings me to the actual point of the video, which is, which do you guys prefer? Because when Duelist Nexus was out and it wasn't really doing very well, one of the things that I remember saying was that while this does not bode super well for the value of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed product like in stores and you know, online and stuff, it could technically be a great way to just pick up the cards in the Duelist Nexus set if you're a more casual, budget-minded player and you wanted to play, say, Evols or, you know, maybe even get the new Unchained support cards or something like that, or playing the Malaria. And it was super easy to get packs and stuff if you bought them on TCG Player because they're cheap. Now, conversely, people were saying that, well, okay, cards need to, or sets need to have high value cards that you can trade and stuff that's of meta interest. And that's certainly what Age of Overlord has. So with Age of Overlord being out and with all those cards being out, do you prefer it this way? because I've seen people online actually complain a little bit about, oh, well, like I wanted to, use the Horus deck, but it's too expensive for me to play. Or I wanted to play Diabellstar, but it's too expensive to get all the cards. Or even if you just wanted to try out SP Little Knight, a card that you definitely need one copy of, and in some cases maybe even two, again, it's really expensive. So the thought process here is, does Yu-Gi-Oh! Do better off when sets are kind of underwhelming but end up being obscenely cheap? Or is it better when the sets are exciting and have, kind of game-changing, meta-relevant cards, but can be price prohibitive? In my opinion, I prefer Age of Overlord. I think that it's an overall better set because even the lower value things in the set are kind of more interesting. And that's like opinionated, but I do think that when there's a lot of value in a set like this, like, valuable cards that you can pull and easily move that are sort of fluid cards, liquid, so to speak, would be the best word for that, I guess. Easy to sell, right? I think that that's overall a better thing for the game. Now, do $100 cards make Yu-Gi-Oh! A very attractive value proposition? Probably not, but I do think competitive players don't mind them because they'll get the cards either way, and it also means that if you get SP Little Knight or you get the Diabellstar engine, you invest in it, you'll be getting a lot of value in it because like SP Little Knight and Diabellstar, and probably to some degree Horus, are going to be like relevant meta things probably for at least the next year. So I would say overall Age of Overlord is a better situation. I think it's a big improvement. So it's like Yu-Gi-Oh's looking pretty good right now. Plus, we've got Rarity Collection around the corner. But not everybody would agree. I think that there are people who are, maybe more budget-oriented players, and they might not like this scenario. So I want to hear what people have to say about this in the comments because it sort of feels like the community can go both ways a bit on these issues. And yeah. Now, one other quick question I have for you guys. It's not super related, but you can just talk about it anyway. What do you think of all of these quarter-century secret rares in all these sets? Because the last two sets now have had 25 different quarter-century secrets in just in the sets, and I definitely feel like they kind of flood the market with value. They're certainly a lot easier to pull than Starlight rares were, although some of their prices can be just pretty low. But like technically, if as long as you can find a person who's willing to buy them, it does improve the perceived value of a set. I don't remember what the pull rate on this is. Like it might be, there were like 1 in 3 or 4 or 5 boxes. I don't know. Somebody can let me know about that. But yeah, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like it cheapens their value because there's so many of them? Or do you think that it's still kind of exciting to pull a quarter-century card, particularly if you get like an SP Little Knight? Anyways, okay, that's it for the video. Let me know what you guys think about this, how you feel about this sort of Yu-Gi-Oh! Price value situation, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.